So we're going to look at one more thing for compasses before we move on to mirrors. We're going to construct parallel lines with a compass, which does involve using stuff from 6 and 5. 6 was perpendicular line through a point, and then that was 5, excuse me, and then 6 is drawing a perpendicular line through a point on the line. So we're going to start with, I like to pick a point on my line. I draw the point in for more instruction purposes than something you have to do. I recommend at the beginning you doing that, and as you get more used to this, you don't need to. I put the pointy end on the point, and I widen my compass till the pencil end touches P. And then I make a nice big arc. Okay. We're doing the last one on number 7 on your compass packet. And then I'm going to pick up the pointy end of my compass and put it on the intersection of my line and my arc. Make sure it still goes through P. I might have to widen it slightly or make it a little bit smaller. And then I make a nice arc. My compass is too big for the camera, it keeps hitting it. Once I have this, I'm going to make a line, a straight line that goes through those two things. Make sure, especially towards the top, you've got extra. So that is a perpendicular line. So I've made a line that goes through P that's perpendicular to line K. Now I like to turn it sideways at this point. You don't have to, but I feel like it's easier. I'm going to make my compass much smaller than it originally was. And I'm going to put it on the pointy end on P, and I'm going to make a mark on that purple line right there. And I'm going to label this point A. Again, the labeling is just so you guys can see what I'm doing, and when I explain my answers out loud, it's easier. Then I'm going to put the pointy end on P, not changing the length of my, or the width of my compass. And I'm going to make another mark, and I'm going to label this B. Now I'm going to put the pointy end on A, and I'm going to make my compass wider so that it is between P and B. And I'm going to make a nice arc. And then I'm going to flip my compass over, not changing the size, and put it on B and make a nice arc. And then I've got this nice line right here that goes through P that is perpendicular to this other purple line I've drawn. And if two lines are perpendicular to the same line, they have to be parallel to each other. So I've created a parallel line. Okay, so that should be the end of compasses. And we're going to move on to mirrors. So let's talk about what a mirror is first a little bit. I'm going to make this, it's going to be a little bit farther away, but that's because my mirror is a little bit bigger. So I need it to be. Okay, this is a mirror. It is not a mirror that you like mirror on the wall that you look through, okay? It's a mirror. It's red. It's got these two perpendicular to this longer side, these two sides holding it up. If you feel it, there's like a beveled edge, I call it, or a dented in edge. That's what you want to put your pencil by. So if you're right-handed, please make sure it's always on the right-hand side, on the bottom. So I am going to put my mirror right here, and I am going to copy AB on this side of my mirror. So I'm going to take my left hand and push down with the top. I'm going to look through that left-hand side, and I can see that my line is right here. And I'm going to trace it with a straight edge. And I have copied, apparently slightly crookedly, line A to B. Okay, should we do that again? Okay, I'm going to do M and N down at the bottom. So everybody should be doing this. When I look at your packets, you should have 2 things done because we're moving to the next one. Okay, I've got M, N. I make sure, again, that beveled inside is whatever hand. If you're left-handed, it should be on the left side. If you're right-handed, it's on the right side. I put it, and I look through, and I see MN there. I'm going to take my straight edge to help me. And I'm going to draw my line through it. Anybody have a question about this? Yeah. It's up to you. Doesn't matter. Okay.
Does bend to the edge should be on top or bottom?
You need help? Yes. It's the easiest thing in the world. Look. Look on the side. You can see the line, right?
So look on the left. You want me to show you how to do it?
It's easy. It is.
Trace over the reflection.
Do you need help? So, how do you use it? Straight and then
Okay. It's a little weird at first, right? Because you're like seeing kind of a shadowy reflection that you've got to trace. Okay, guys, I need your attention again in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to look at number 2. Okay? We're going to make a perpendicular bisector. This is when it's really important that your beveled edge or your indented side is on the bottom and on the side that you are. So if you're right-handed, it should be on the right-hand side. I'm going to put my mirror on top of P to Q, and I've got it so that P is way over here. So I'm going to just tilt and move my mirror till P is covering Q, and the end point is right over the end point. Once you've got it, you're going to drag your pencil or your pen right down the beveled edge, and you've created a perpendicular bisector. You've cut it in half.
Oh. Wait. Well, that's just put it in the middle.
see how P
You line up the P.
You might want to roll.
Okay, so I had lots of people in the past few seconds, excuse me, complain. Mr. Korn, will you do this? Complain that their straight edge or their lines not coming up right. So Mr. Korn is going to walk around, and if you would like a ruler, pick a ruler.
Yes,
Are you still recording?
please.
That might help.
Are you still recording?
Yes, I am. Okay. I need your attention in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to move to the next page. Okay. So, we are going to go ahead and we are going to take, excuse me, are we focused? Yes, they're rulers. It's going to be okay. You're going to put your mirror down, and you're going to see the angle right through. And then you're simply going to trace that angle. I recommend using your straight edge to trace it. So you're on copying an angle, construction number 3. You put it next to the top angle. You look through and you see the other one and you're just tracing it, but I recommend using a straight edge or a ruler to do it. Questions about copying an angle?
I'm not a copy. I don't need to copy.
Well, the whole point of it is to copy this one.
What's the purpose of the arrow?
The arrow is to say it goes on and on. It's not like a segment. It doesn't stop. So that's why we use the arrows.
So you want us to draw the arrow?
Yes, I do. Okay, once you've copied an angle, turn to the next page. Turn to the next page. I'm not big on, like, once you've copied one angle, I get it. You don't need to copy 4 or 3 angles, okay? Like, we get it. Okay, so I'm going to ask you to be quiet in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Silence, please. Shh. If you're stuck on how to do something, you just raise your hand. Mr. Kwan will come around and help. There shouldn't be this much talking. We do need to get through this packet. And remember, we are recording. Okay, so I'm going to take my mirror to bisect. Everybody's on number 4?
Yes.
Again, if you get stuck on something, just raise your hand. Mr. Kwan will come by, help you out. Okay, for this, we're going to put it on the vertex. Who remembers what the vertex is? Yes, where the 2 rays meet, okay? And I want this line right here on the bottom underneath my mirror to reflect. Its reflection should be right on top of the other one. So I got to turn it a little bit so they're right on top, and then I drag my pen right along that beveled or indented edge, and I've bisected my angle.
That's easy.
Super easy. Okay, one more time. I'm going to put it on the vertex, and I just move my mirror till the reflection is right on top. And then I'm going to drag my pen or pencil right along the beveled edge. And I've bisected my angle. That means these 2 halves are the same. You okay? All right. Then let's go to number 5. If it's a wiggly line, you're not dragging your pen slow enough along the beveled edge.
Who's Jorge?
Okay. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we're doing a perpendicular bisector through a point. You're going to take your mirror. You're going to put it so it is on top of Z. And my line is all funky. It's over here when I look through. I want the lines to be on top of each other. My reflection of this side through the mirror and the actual line to overlap. So one more time. If I do it like this, right? This reflection of this line is like way over here. I want it to be right on top of my line. So I just turn my mirror a little bit till they're on top of each other, making sure it's through the point. I like to press down on my mirror with my left hand and take my right hand because I'm right-handed and move it along that beveled edge. And I have created a perpendicular line through a point. Yep.
She said that.
Okay. All right, are we ready? Construction number 6? Good. All right, we're on number 6. You ready? I'm going to take my mirror and I'm going to put it on top of point P. And I'm going to adjust the mirror so that the lines are over crossing each other. And then I'm going to drag my pen or pencil down the beveled edge. Done. M is line M, not point M. That's it. Then we move on.
What's the point of this?
So you can do different constructions because we are going to make shapes and parallelograms have parallel lines. So in order to make a parallelogram, you got to make 2 parallel lines and 2 parallel lines. And these are just, we're going to learn how to do it with a compass, mirror, and patty paper so you can choose which one to use in certain situations. Okay, we're turning it to the next one.
Is this the same thing?
All right, this is even easier. We're going to construct parallel lines. I like to move mine sideways like this. I move my whole paper sideways. You do not have to do it this way. I am going to look through my mirror. I'm going to put my mirror above line N, and I'm going to move it until that line intersects Z. And then I'm going to take my straight edge. I want to make sure the line intersects, oops, that's too big, Z. I'm going to put my straight edge right where it goes. I've created a parallel line. Done. Way less steps than with a compass, right? Again, I'm taking my mirror, I'm putting it above N, and I move it until the reflection goes over Z. And then I'm done. And I trace it. That's it. I'm going to do one more, okay? So if I'm going to do line M with Q, see how I'm putting my mirror right next to Q? Then I'm moving it over till the line goes through Q. I put my straight edge next to it. And then I draw my line.
Wait. Can I see the first one again? Oh.
Okay. So,
Oh.
ladies and gentlemen, I need your attention again. So you have to stop talking in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Silent llamas. Now, I did this differently than the compass. We have done all 7. What I want you to do is go back through and on each page, write yourself 3 to 6 step instruction on how to do it. Each page. So you should have 7 pages. Do instructions for each one, 1 to 3 steps. So that when I give you your individual packet, you don't need to ask me any help. So just quick little steps for each page. We can do the first one as an example, okay? So the first one is 1, put mirror next to segment AB. 2, trace reflection with straight edge, or ruler, you can say. Step 3, label. That's all, that's the most I'm looking for. Okay, if you need more than that 3-step instruction, that's fine, but that's the most I'm looking for. It says trace reflection with straight edge. Then label. Okay, so you're going to do one of those for the next 6 on your paper. And then Mr. Kwan's going to pass out your homework. And I'm going to explain your homework really quick while you guys are working on this. Your homework is what might you have if you don't feel well. And if we look right here, all we're going to do for like E, you can do it one of 2 ways. You can either plot the points, plot over 1 up 2, plot over 4 up 4, and then find the slope, which is I go up 2 over 3. So up 2 over 3 is E. I find that down here and put E. Or you can go, remember y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1? So I can go 4 minus 2 is 2, 4 minus 1 is 3, 2 over 3 is E. So you can either do it by graphing or by doing that slope formula, and that is your homework for tonight. Okay? So remember, I want those instructions on each page, at least 3 quick steps, and then you guys can start working on your homework.
You don't have to use the graph?
You do not have to use a graph if you don't want to. No.